Oluyori is a prosperous kingdom situated between towering mountains and ruled by a queen whose beauty was said to rival that of the sun itself. Queen Adetoun was her name, and her presence alone could command the respect and adoration of her people. She is in her late 70s, but with skin as smooth as the richest mahogany, eyes that gleamed like the night stars. She was a vision to behold. Queen Adetoun, against the land tradition, does not honor the covering of her head as a queen. She enjoys flaunting her natural, beautiful and smooth afro hair. Yet, despite her beauty and the power she wielded, there was a void in her life that the people of Oluyori could not understand. Queen Adetoun had no husband, no king to stand beside her, and no children to inherit her throne. The elders of Oluyori had urged her countless times to take a husband, to crown her reign with a king, and to secure the future of their beloved kingdom. But Adetoun would not be swayed. Elders of Oluyori Kingdom, listen to me good. A man is not my crown, she would say, her voice smooth and commanding. The people of Oluyori, while loyal to their queen, could not help but whisper about her refusal. Why did she resist the call of tradition? Why did she choose to rule alone? Abba! Despite her rejection of marriage, Queen Adetoun was not without desire. In the dead of night, when the moon was high and the kingdom slept, she would summon her guards to bring a man to her royal bed. These men, often young and handsome, were chosen without care for their marital status or willingness. They were brought to the palace to satisfy the queen's desires, staying no longer than 2 nights before being dismissed back to their lives. The men, though returned unharmed, were often left with a lingering sense of shame and confusion. Some of the women whom their husband had been once taken to the queen's palace found this act disgusting and heartbroken. The whispers in the village grew louder, but none dared challenge the queen's strange behavior openly. Her power was absolute, and her wrath, though rarely seen, was feared. In a small village on the edge of Oluyori, there lived a young man named Adufe. He was known for his striking good looks, broad shoulders, with skin like polished ebony and eyes as deep as the ocean. Adufe was not only handsome, but also wise beyond his years. With a sharp mind and a kind heart, he was beloved by his people, who often sought his counsel and admired his strength. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky the shades of brown, Queen Adetoun's guards arrived at Adufe's home. Without a word, they seized him, dragging him to the palace. Adufe did not resist, knowing that the queen's will was law. His heart pounded with fear and curiosity as he was brought before Adetoun. The queen's gaze swept over him like a predator assessing its prey. "You are an handsome man," she said, her voice laced with satisfaction. Adufe, though uneasy, bowed his head in submission. For 2 nights, he was at her beck and call, fulfilling her every unpredictable desire. But Adufe was different from the other men who had been brought to the palace before him. He was observant, curious, and unafraid. He noticed things: the way Adetoun's manner changed when she was alone, the hidden passages within the palace, and the strange symbols that adorned certain rooms. On the morning of the 3rd day, When he was supposed to leave, a sense of unease settled over him. Something about the queen and the palace felt wrong. Instead of departing, Adufe decided to stay, hiding in a small unused room he had discovered during his restless nights. He waited, silent and still, as the hours dragged on. As night fell, Queen Adetoun retired to her private chambers, unaware that Adufe was still within the palace walls. She dismissed her servants and guards, who slept in another building within the palace compound, and she locked the doors behind her. Alone, she approached a large mirror that dominated one wall of the room. Adufe silently followed her, careful to stay out of sight. With a soft touch, she activated a hidden mechanism, and the mirror slid open to reveal a narrow staircase leading down into a dimly lit room. The staircase led to a secret chamber deep beneath the palace. The walls were lined with strange ancient symbols, and in the center of the room stood an altar draped in crimson cloth. On the altar lay a small, intricately carved box. Adetoun approached the box with reverence, opening it to reveal a glowing gem that pulsed with an airy, unnatural light and smoke. She held the gem aloft, chanting words in a language Adufe did not recognize. As she spoke, the air in the chamber grew thick with fire, and Adetoun's body began to glow with the same light as the gem. Adufe watched in horror as the queen's beauty, already paranormal, took on an even more ghostly quality. Her eyes gleamed with a strange light, and her voice echoed with the power of 1,000 souls. "It is done," and she whispered to herself, placing the gem back in the box. "I am eternal." Realization struck Adufe like a thunderbolt. The queen's beauty and power were not natural. They were the result of dark magic. The gem, a source of immense and terrible power, was the key to her unnatural youth and strength. Each man she took to her bed was drained of his life force, his essence feeding the gem and sustaining Adetoun's eternal beauty. Adufe knew he had to escape and warn the people of Oluyori, but as he turned to leave, his foot brushed against a stone, sending it clattering to the floor. The noise echoed through the chamber, and Adetoun's head snapped up, her glowing eyes locking onto him. "Who dares defy me?" Her voice vibrating with unnatural power. Adufe bolted for the staircase, but the queen was faster than he could have imagined. With the light flashing out of her eyes, she sent him crashing against the wall, his body slumping to the ground. Pain surged through him and darkness threatened to overtake him, but he fought to stay conscious. "You shouldn't have stayed," Adetoun said coldly. "No one defies me and lives." She placed her palms on the wall, and they both appeared in the palace passage. She stood there with him, watching him all night. The following morning, she called for her guards, and Adufe was dragged to a cell deep within the palace. The cell had no lock, hence, Adetoun used her power to lock him in the cell. For weeks, he languished there, his body weakened by hunger and the queen's dark magic. But Adufe was not easily broken. He used his time in captivity to plan his escape, knowing that if he could just reach the village, the people would rise against the queen. Meanwhile, the people of Oluyori began to grow suspicious of Adufe's disappearance. The people gathered themselves in unison at the palace. They demanded answers from the palace guards, but the guards remained silent. The peoples unease turned to anger, seeing that the guards ignored them and the queen refused to attend to their cries. They left the palace in anger. They knew they needed proof to confront the queen, so they devised another plan to infiltrate the palace. One night, under the cover of darkness, a group of villagers, led by an elder named Ayekpegba, sneaked into the palace. Ayekpegba was a man of great wisdom and respect. He was very brave with an uncanny ability to find hidden paths. Some of the villagers believed that his power lies in his grey deadlock. They found Adufe in a cell, weak but alive, though the cell had no door or gate. However, they could not enter because it was locked by supernatural power. Ayekpegba, knowing the tricks, turned his back and stretched his hands wide open. He was able to walk into the cell with his back and brought Adufe out. They swiftly but quietly hurried back to their abodes. Adufe told them everything he had seen. Together they plotted the next move, knowing they had to act quickly to save the kingdom from Adetoun's dark magic. With Adufe's knowledge of the secret chamber and the queen's dark rituals, the villagers were able to expose her to the entire kingdom. Early in the following morning, they stormed the palace in a sudden, overwhelming wave, with stones, sticks, and cutlass in their hands. Their numbers and determination overpowered the guards. Adetoun, realizing she had been exposed, immediately approached the magic mirror to get the gem and flee. But Ayekpegba and Adufe were waiting for her in the palace hall. In a final desperate confrontation, Adufe wrestled the gem from Adetoun's hands, smashing it on the ground with all his strength before the people of Oluyori. The moment the gem shattered, the queen's power evaporated. The light that had once given her beauty and strength now left her, and she began to wither before their eyes. Her once beautiful features aged rapidly, her skin wrinkling and her hair turning grey. Her power was gone. The villagers bound Adetoun and brought her before the other elders. The once mighty queen, now a frail and powerless woman, was forced to face the judgment of her people. The elders declared that Adetoun had betrayed the kingdom, using dark magic to sustain herself at the cost of innocent lives. For her crimes, she was to be banished from Oluyori and never to return. As Adetoun was led away, Ayekpegba spoke words that would forever echo in the history of Oluyori.
You, Queen Adetoun, have been trapped by your desires. Trapped between the ties of power and lust. You have lost your crown, your kingdom, and your soul.
With Adetoun gone, the villagers turned to Adufe. His bravery and strength had saved them all, and it was decided that he would take the throne as the new king of Oluyori. Under his rule, the kingdom would flourish, free from the darkness that had once plagued it. And so, the kingdom of Oluyori began a new chapter with a just and noble king on the throne. Hello, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, kindly give it a big thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed. And remember to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our amazing stories. Also, if you enjoy it, share it. Do not enjoy it alone, and leave a comment. Until next time, bye.